Let's have some fun and have a look at the paths of the brain. Now, as I've said before, there are two paths that the brain will take. It will either take the high road, which is the better of the two, or the low road. The high road leads from the experience going up to the brain, and the brain being logical and looking at the situation and then going down, knowing how to deal with it. While the other side is the low side, the low path, which is where the brain goes into flight, fight, or freeze. And this is really great fun. And if we know how the brain works, we can then work with the way that the brain works and make sure that we don't get into that situation of fight, flight, or freeze. So let's just have a look at the screen. Now on the screen, you've got this lovely dog. She's called Pocket, and she's a Pomeranian Husky, and she's lovely. She's as soft in heart and character as she is in her fur. Lovely dog. Next to that, you've got the spider and the snake. Now, obviously, there's a natural inbuilt fear with spiders and snakes. But remember, we're only born with those two fears of falling and loud noises. So the fear of spiders and snakes, which is a really good fear in many ways, has been learnt, and rightly so. So let's go and keep looking at the picture. So here you are, you've got Pocket. And both Pocket, snake and spider go at the same place, going up to the thalamus. Now the thalamus is located in the centre of the brain. It helps control the attention span, sensing pain, and monitors input that moves in and out of the brain to keep track of the sensations that the body is feeling. So you've said to the owner of Pocket, is she okay to stroke? Yeah, that's fine. It's gone in through the ears. It's immediately that sense through the ears. Then you stroke her and she's as soft as silk, and you're thinking, oh, she's lovely, and the reaction is great as she wobbles her tail, and so you've got the eyes there as well, and everything within you says the thalamus, hey, this is great, it's safe. So if you go up from the snake and the spider, you get the direct opposite, but we'll deal with that in a minute. From the thalamus, the brain then goes up to the sensory cortex. And as I've mentioned before, the sensory cortex is where the brain first begins to receive and interpret sensory information from various parts of the body before passing that information on. So again, oh, isn't she lovely? We've heard she's great, we felt she's great, and we've seen her tail wag to show that she's great. And you're thinking, this is a lovely, lovely dog. The hippocampus is the portion of the brain involved in the formation of new memories, and is also associated with learning and emotions, specifically converting temporary memories into permanent memories, which can be stored within the brain. The hippocampus also helps people analyze and remember spatial relationships, allowing for accurate movement. So here we are, we've got the hippocampus. And once we have the hippocampus, so basically you're thinking, I remember dogs are actually quite okay to stroke. I remember doing that before. It's in the hippocampus, it brings back to the memory, to the forefront of the brain, actually it's safe. And so then the brain triggers down to the amygdala. Now the amygdala, as you see, is involved in both the high road and the low road. So what is the amygdala? The amygdala is that part of the nervous system that is responsible for flight, fight, or freeze. It encourages the adrenal gland to squirt a dose of epinephrine into the bloodstream. These hormones boost activity in the heart and lungs, reduce activity in the stomach and intestines, hence that kind of butterfly feeling in the stomach that we sometimes may have, cause tears and salivation to dry up, pupils to dilate, tunnel vision, and reduction in hearing, and it triggers activity in the hypothalamus. So that is really kind of crazy. But again, because we know everything's all right, the amygdala isn't brought in. The epinephrine isn't squirted there. We're okay. So there you are. We got to the amygdala. Then we feel, hey, I'm at rest. I'm okay. Everything's really great. I'm enjoying stroking Pocket. She's a beautiful dog. And then we get to the hypothalamus. And of course, all this is in a split second. So the hypothalamus, the main role is to keep the body healthy and in a balanced state. This region controls mood, thirst, hunger, temperature, and also the hormonal process. The hypothalamus projects back to the cerebral cortex, which is the most highly developed part of the human brain. So there you got the hypothalamus, and thinking everything's in balance, everything's cool, everything's good, everything's right, and it comes down to the cerebral cortex. The cerebral cortex is the part of the frontal lobes responsible for thinking, perceiving, producing and understanding language. Most information processing occurs in the cerebral cortex. The high road in dealing with fear is to use the frontal lobes as opposed to the low road, which will result in fight, flight or freeze response. So let's just then have a look at the low road. Up to the thalamus. Remember, the thalamus is that part of the brain that keeps track of sensations that the body is feeling. And you're thinking, you hear the snake or you see the spider and you think, this is not good. Immediately, straight away, the thalamus kicks in to the amygdala. The amygdala again thinks, whoa, and squirts a dose of epinephrine into the bloodstream. The hormones boost activity in the heart and lungs, reduce activity in the stomach, intestines. They get the butterfly feelings in the stomach, causing tears and salivation to dry, pupils to dilate, tunnel vision, and reduction in hearing, and trigger activity in the hypothalamus. And you either run, freeze, or fight. And in the case of this, it's probably the run or the freeze. Things are not in balance. Again, that part of the brain is almost frozen here. Everything is to do with energy to help you deal with this situation. That is why your brain is so limited. That's why it's hard to plan, to think outside of the situation. You can't see outside, so you can't see objectively. You can't be disassociated from the position or the situation because you're right in there and you're thinking, I've got to run, I've got to fight, I've got to freeze. And that hits the cerebral cortex. So obviously the best is to go in the high road. And you know, this stuff really works. If we stop, we think, okay, what's going on here? Is it safe? Isn't it safe? Even if you're faced with a snake or a spider, stop. Don't react. Work out a plan. Work out a strategy. That will then cause you to slow down. It will help into the hippocampus, which is thinking, okay, I've been here before, or I've seen what I need to do in the movie or whatever, and thinking, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to just stay still. I'm not going to move. That goes to the amygdala thinking, all right, I can just about deal with this. That goes to the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is saying, the body is almost at rest. It's okay. The cerebral cortex is in there thinking, right, okay, plan the action. Right, what's next? Slowly move away. And then we've got out of the situation of fight, flight, or freeze. This short video is part of an online training program on a platform called Udemy. And it's entitled Make It Happen, the life you've always wanted. And the Make It Happen, the life you've always wanted, is all about you and you achieving your full potential and creating a vision of your future that is so compelling you'd almost give up everything to make it happen. I'd be so delighted if you came and joined me on the Udemy Make It Happen, the Life You've Always Wanted course. But in the meantime, please enjoy these short snippets of a video, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye now.